Video. This is the Tuesday, Week 13 NFL recap, where I'm going to be going over each and every single game, giving my thoughts about it, and yeah, just seeing what happened this week. So starting off as a Thursday night game, we had the Bills at the Patriots. Even though I was at work, I did see quite a bit of this game. The Bills offensively, outside of the Josh Allen turnover, didn't look that bad. I mean, they spent most of the second half just milking the clock. First half, they had 2 passing touchdowns from Josh Allen. He did have a fumble in that game, again, but overall the offense didn't play bad. Despite the fact that Von Miller was there, though, Tre'Davious White came back, and the Bills, defensively, stopped the New England team that looked good offensively against Minnesota, but against Buffalo, just couldn't get anything going. Mac Jones was frustrated, and I'm sure the rest of the New England Patriots were frustrated too. But for the Bills, it was a great week overall. It was the start of a great week overall. It's always nice, beating the New England Patriots, but Bills got the win here. They took care of business, and rest is history. We'll just work down the line with some of these games. We got the Browns at the Texans. I had the Browns defense in fantasy, and boy, am I glad that I picked them up, as their defense and special teams was about the only thing that scored, except for Deshaun Watson and his 25 massage victims. It was really Deshaun Watson with his, whatever. The Browns just didn't do anything offensively. The Texans, it's the Texans. I mean, they didn't do anything either, but you expected a little bit more out of Deshaun Watson, but it's his first game back, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with the Browns for the rest of the season. Don't think they'll make the playoffs, but, crazy things have happened in the NFL. Next up, we have probably one of the most boring games of the week, at least up until the final 30 seconds, where the only touchdown was scored. Broncos at the Ravens. I expected the Ravens to just beat the crap out of Denver, but thanks to a Lamar Jackson injury, the Ravens were stuck with Tyler Huntley, and if I'm being honest with you, this game just wasn't that great overall. Very low scoring, very nice if you love, defensive ball games, but it just wasn't a fun game at all. It really wasn't. I mean, part of it was the Lamar Jackson injury, but still. I mean, if you're a Ravens fan, you got to be disappointed. But hey, at least you didn't blow a fourth quarter lead. Next up, you got the Chargers at the Raiders. Now, this one ended up actually being somewhat close. The Chargers took a 10-0 lead. Raiders jumped up 27-13 at one point, and then the Chargers got a touchdown and an extra point to make it 27-20. But on the final drive, the Chargers were unable to do anything, and they came up short. Raiders now have won 3 straight games, and I don't know. Are they actually good? They just got it to a slow start? I don't think so, but we'll see what happens with the Raiders. And for the Chargers, their season just continues to be full of woes, despite having probably one of the most productive off seasons out of any NFL team here. Next up, Chiefs-Bengals, probably the game of the week. Bengals ended up taking the win here, and once again, Cincinnati has come up clutch for the Bills. Thanks, guys. But no, both teams, they look good offensively. Defensively, both teams made some plays. One of the biggest plays that I saw was the Travis Kelce fumble that the Bengals forced, and they took advantage of it. So there you go. Chiefs, you guys are still a really good team. Bengals, you guys are also a really good team. It's going to be a tight race for the AFC, at least for the 1 seed. I think the Bengals will probably end up taking the AFC North now that Lamar Jackson's out. Next up, you got the Jets at the Vikings. Now, this one was a lot closer than I think it needed to be. But the Vikings, they continued to be the kings of one-score games and winning them, as they narrowly defeated Mike White and the Jets. Mike White threw the ball about 57 times, which that's not something you want to see from your backup quarterback. You want to see your quarterback throw the ball, but 57 times? You want him to throw the ball 57 times. It's not Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or even Joe Burrow. You can't do that to your backup quarterback. Defense played well in the second half, but the Vikings overall just had this game from start to finish. The Jets just failed to convert on numerous opportunities, and it cost them in the end, having to settle for field goals instead of punching it in for touchdowns. Next up, we got the Jaguars at the Lions, and I'm not shocked that the Lions won. Again, I'm shocked at the fact that they smashed them. 40-14, bro. 40-14. The Lions, they just continue to be a very, solid team, probably the best 5-7 team out of everybody that's 5-7 right now. The defense, they made plays on a Jaguars offense that's improved. and the Lions just continue to dominate NFL defenses. So there you go. Lions fans, you got some hope for next year, as do the Chicago Bears, who we'll get to in a minute. The Steelers at the Falcons is the next game, and I mean, yeah, this was about what you expected. A pretty blah game, a lot of field goals in this one, low scoring game really. Pickett, I'm pretty sure, threw a touchdown in this one. The Steelers defense just continuing to dominate teams, and Mike Tomlin's just continuing to find ways to win. I swear, he's gonna find a way to get out of, like a losing record. He's gonna find a way to get back to like 9-8 or something. I don't know, bro. I don't know how he does this nearly every single, not nearly. He does this every single season. He either goes way above 500 or he's like barely at 500, like last season, or barely over, or at 500 like a few seasons ago. But yeah. And you guys remember that feeling when I said that Titans and the Eagles, like Titans and the Eagles game, like would be a Titans victory? I'm a clown. I am an absolute clown, as well as like some other people that picked the Tennessee Titans. The Titans just got the ever-living crap kicked out of them by Philly. I'm not shocked that they won. I'm shocked by the amount that they won by. They smashed them by 25 points. Hurts looked like an MVP. Hurts continues to be like playing at an MVP level, which is great because I have him in fantasy. Defense held Derrick Henry. Defense held the Tennessee Titans to close to nothing, outside of a Treylon Burks touchdown drive and a field goal drive, but that was about it. Eagles played dominant in the second half, didn't give up any points, and the Eagles continue to be one of, if not the league's best teams. And next up, we have another really good game. We got the Dolphins at the Niners. Sorry for the 49ers fans. You guys lost Jimmy G for this season. But hey, Brock had a pretty good game, not gonna lie. Not playing terrible. I mean, I know the Dolphins defense isn't like elite, but like it's not a bad defense by any means. And even for the Dolphins, I mean, outside of that touchdown drive, like to open up the game, which that was like, holy cow. 75 yards to Sherfield. 2 to Sherfield. But no, Miami, regardless of what the score says, you guys played a great game. You guys are still a contender. You guys are still a fantastic team. You just got beat by the Niners. Like, the Niners defense is about as impenetrable as a brick wall. I'm not even going to try to be funny there. I'm just going to be blunt and say a brick wall. But no, the Niners, despite losing Jimmy Garoppolo, didn't have a bad outing. The defense was really the thing that carried the Niners to victory. And I mean, when you're going up against a good defense, you're naturally going to struggle. And I mean, Tua didn't exactly struggle. He had nearly 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he did throw 2 interceptions. So yeah, there you go. Dolphins, you guys are still not a bad team. Niners, you also are not a bad team. But, I mean, Niners, right now, you guys are playing with a backup quarterback. Third-string quarterback, actually. So, we'll see how far that takes you. Next up, we got the Colts at the Cowboys. Colts did what they always do. They kept it close for a while. But in the fourth quarter, the Cowboys put up a franchise record, 33 points in the fourth quarter. I mean, I think a couple of those touchdowns were from their defense. Ezekiel Elliott, I know, got one in there. I want to say Tony Pollard got one, too. Or I could be wrong on that. I watched literally like most of the game. I watched most of the game there. Mainly like the fourth quarter because of fantasy purposes. I won, but I needed somebody else to lose to keep my playoff hopes alive, and they did. So thank you. But no, the Cowboys, they came out, they dominated defensively pretty much the whole game. Well, whole game, yeah, mainly fourth quarter. And I mean, yeah. Regardless of what the score says, I mean, it was still a close game for most of the way through, but the Cowboys just got the better of the Colts. Next up, we got the Packers at the Bears, and now we're going to be talking about the Bears. The Bears jumped out to a nice lead. I want to say they jumped out to a 16-3 lead, but then the Packers and Aaron Rodgers came out and showed that, sadly, they still own the Bears. Next season, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think the Bears are going to be a dark horse playoff team next year. As long as they can get some good pieces, that is. Some good pieces. Like defense. Good pieces like defense. Maybe a wide receiver 1, 2. Beef up the O-line a little bit. And I know that sounds like a lot, but like the Bears, they got a great quarterback in Justin Fields. I know his 2 interceptions would beg to differ. But he's a good guy. He's a great quarterback. I love him coming out of Ohio State. But they just traded Roquan Smith and Robert Quinn at the wrong time. And now that defense sucks. And every time that Justin Fields can't come up clutch, everybody wants to blame him. Alright? It's a shame, dude. I wasn't, a huge fan of Chicago going into the season, but now it's like I got some hope. I got hope that the Bears can actually be a good team next year, and they can actually get some wins. Hopefully they don't beat my Bills on Christmas Eve, otherwise that's going to be absolutely disappointing. Next up, we got the Commanders at the Giants. Another game that I was wrong on. I was only wrong on 2 games this week. I was wrong on Titans-Eagles, and I was wrong on Packers-Bears. If I had picked the Eagles and the Packers, I probably would have ended up with no losses. But the Commanders-Giants game, I had the Commanders winning, as I think a lot of other people did as well. It just ended up being a tie. Commanders held the lead for a little bit, and then it was 20-13 Giants, and then the Commanders tied the game, and then it went to overtime. Nobody could score, and this was a game really dominated by the defenses, at least in overtime. But the Giants, they pulled out a win and got the job done. No, I'm sorry. Did I say the Giants got the win? It feels like the Giants got a win because they didn't lose. But no, like the Giants and the Commanders, you guys are both playing really solid. I think I owe both of you an apology because off camera I've been saying stuff about how the Giants were not going to be good and how the Commanders weren't going to be good. And now they both have 7 wins and a tie. So there you go. It was a tie. Nobody won this game. So yeah, there you go. Next up, Seahawks at the Rams, and I thought this was going to be a blowout for Seattle, but instead the Rams decided, we're going to keep it close. But the Seahawks and Geno Smith decided to be clutch, and we'll get to another clutch game in just a minute. But Geno Smith came out and had a solid outing, threw the game-winning touchdown, and the Seahawks defense made plays when it mattered most. So yeah, there you go. Next up, we got this, and last but not least, we got the Saints at the Buccaneers. The Saints held the lead for a large chunk of this game, and I think at one point they were up 16-3 with less than 6.5 minutes to go in the fourth. One of the things that I saw was that Mark Ingram, and I think a lot of people saw it too, he stepped out of bounds right before the first down marker, and then a few plays later the Saints ended up punting the ball to the Buccaneers. So, then the rest is history. I saw the touchdown drive, the touchdown pass. Brady threw it to Rachaad White, and the Buccaneers ended up taking this game, man. Wow. I mean, I know New Orleans is... the last 2 seasons, the Saints have been Tom Brady and the Buccaneers' regular season daddy, but this year, it's a completely different story. The Buccaneers owned the Saints this year, and the Buccaneers now, I believe, have a 1.5 game lead on the Falcons, who is the next closest team to them, so... There you go. Oh, my God. I swear, if the Buccaneers just start going on a run... where it's like, yeah, now they're gonna make the playoffs, I'm gonna cry. But yeah, with that being said, you guys, what did you think of this, this week? Let me know down in the comments below if there are any games that shocked you, any games that didn't shock you. So yeah, with that being said, you guys, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to hit that like button down below, subscribe if you're new, and click that notification bell to get all the latest news and all my latest content. And with that being said, you guys, I'll see you on Thursday for my Week 14 picks.